I do not want to be here.
We will discuss this at later dates. You and yours will retreat yourselves from my village before any such discussion will take place. Don't worry, I can find you in your dreams.
My sister's probably going to want to have a discussion with you about the stuff.
Very
I can't,
well, bring her
but I
forward.
yeah, I can't. Yeah, basically he's going to say I can't tell her no on that. But all right. And then Jeannie's going to go, by the way, I really do appreciate the craftsmanship on the wall. And I'll give him a thumbs up. Very good. Good work. And I'm going to turn around and just walk away.
Okay.
And that is genuine, like, appreciation. Not just like her
Meanwhile,
stroking his ego.
okay. Meanwhile, Edmont's just daydreaming in the in thinking that how much it would just please him like punch to just flog him in the city center.
Who, Zach Wheel?
Yes.
Why?
Uh,
Like, what's prompted this?
Edmont's just really mad right now.
And who?
Uh,
Yes.
Jeannie walks up in the middle of this after Edmont goes yes and says, "Oh, I got word that Zach Will is willing to speak with Evie now."
I mean, I'm not sure we.
So let's finish up. Before we go back to Zach Wheel, is there anything else anybody wants to do in the village before we move on to the next scene with him?
I think Victor is just trying to get a general lay of the land, people's opinions, if anything odd has been going on.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, odd, yes, because it's extremely odd that House Veritas has shown up and breached their walls. Like the story of there was a great amount of smoke just outside of the gates this morning, and two of the men at arms, after they came off shift, went over. They have all kinds of stories about you guys. So yeah, you guys are completely odd.
Okay, so aside from that, so Victor's going to do two things. He's going to look to see what other incantation or rune markings he can find around the village to indicate some sort of magical defense, and he's also going to offer to buy the gate guards a drink at the local, wherever the hell people drink around here.
There's not a tavern as such. But, I mean, if you... Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, make me an Arcana check. And this is going to keep Victor occupied for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, make me an Arcana check.
That's going to be... Definitely going to need the die on that one. It's going to be a 21.
Okay. You don't see any more arcane markings. Presumably, though, because the walls themselves are so heavily guarded. Anything that can breach the walls, you're not sure what kind of magical defenses would stop such a force. It would be far beyond the capability of, say, your house, for example.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Ooh, that's actually a good roll. So that's a base of 17, otherwise a 21.
Okay. You offer to buy one of the men-at-arms a drink. So this is like a no hard feelings kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. After a few moments, I mean, you get the man to warm up to you a little bit. And he starts letting his guard down. Not surprisingly, he's not a man-at-arms. There was no militia in this city. They retreated out to a rock in the middle of the lake whenever Treble came calling. He's just one of these fishermen's sons that Zachiel put a metal hat on and handed a spear and set up to walk his walls. It's like Zachiel is playing at being a lord but doesn't have the proper infrastructure. So he's very, very... He doesn't outright say it, but he's very, very appreciative that you guys did not just kill him. He literally has a commoner stat block.
Very good.
All right.
I would like to buy some fish, salted if possible.
Yeah, you have your pick of it. There's fish, there's crab, there's, I don't know, dried kelp sandwiches.
Is there stuff I don't recognize?
Are you trained in nature?
Nope.
If you're not trained in nature, then yeah, you probably don't know enough about different kinds of fish to. So yeah, there's probably all kinds of fish you don't recognize.
I'm gonna grab Orson, and I'm gonna say, Orson, I want to help me buy whatever fish you've never seen before.
And he's not able to find any catch that
Okay.
he's never seen before. But,
Okay, well then, in that case, buy the fish that you think is the tastiest.
Oh yeah, he's got opinions on that. And
Okay. Yeah, I buy about 2 days worth of trail rations of salted fish then.
okay. Well, I mean, the fish here would be fresh. You'd have to salt it yourself or have somebody do it. Because yeah, this is the day's catch coming in, and they're catching more than you think the village needs to subsist on.
Is there someone here who can salt it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you tell them, yeah, we're leaving out on the road, we want this on the they can prepare it for you.
Cool.
And
Should I just mark off the ration amount for that?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, doing business with these people is just like doing business in any little fishing village, the kind you pass through 1,000 times, crisscrossing North Warren back in the day. Anything else before we go back to Zakwheel?
I'm real curious why they are afraid of ravens.
Who do you ask?
I'll ask some of the villagers, like, well, what does Lord Zachiel have against ravens?
Make me an investigation check. Charisma investigation.
Like, oh, it's a charisma investigation, okay.
Yeah, because you're schmoozing with the people.
Something to ask. Oops.
How's 15 do?
The villagers you speak to aren't afraid of ravens, and you get the impression from them that it's kind of a silly thing to be afraid of. Ravens, like, yeah, they can be destructive birds and they can be a nuisance, but they're not anything to be afraid of. What they're told from Zakwheel is that ravens watch people and report back.
Report back to who?
That's a good question, and Zakwheel hasn't given anybody a straight answer. Mostly, they don't really believe it, in the sense that they don't think it's that big of a deal. Because in their lives, it manifests as, hey, we want you to put this thing on the top of your house, or on the top of your fish shop, or whatever. Or like, and just affix it there and make sure that it doesn't fall off. But yes, if you try to scout the place using your familiars, and you bring your familiar in too close, they would get zapped by one of these magical knobs.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk to Jeannie, because Jeannie spoke with him. Like, does Jeannie confide that Zachiel claimed to have information about how to get home?
Nope.
No?
And is Edmont doing anything in the village for the remainder of the day before going back to see Zakwheel?
There's just industry revolving around fishing and stuff in the
At first glance, yes. Over the course of the morning and afternoon. However, you notice some men up towards the north edge of the village. Instead of bringing their boat directly back to the stream where everybody else departed from, they go up around to the north edge here, nearer to the wall. Give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Don't mind if I do. $21.
There's no need for like a hide check or anything, because they're not paying attention. You can watch them from a fair distance.
Mm-hmm.
They drag their boat ashore, and they have a large cloth. And when they pull it back, instead of fish, you basically see garbage. Bits of flotsam and jetsam, driftwood, things like that. Looks like salvage. To your eyes, it doesn't look like anything special. Just bits of debris.
Actually, this is kind of what I was about to get at. I was like, I'm pretty sure they must have dredged something up in their nets from time to time. I'm kind of interested in what they're dredging up.
That doesn't look like what's happened here. This isn't, oh, we were fishing and we managed to grab driftwood. These guys must have gone out to the lake for the explicit purpose of collecting this detritus. They're not
They are
fishermen,
such
they're
a-
salvagers.
Let's see. How long does invisibility last?
An hour.
Yeah, tell you what, I'm gonna duck out of sight if that's possible.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna use 2 key points to cast invisibility on myself.
Okay.
And I'm gonna eavesdrop.
And the story is, yeah, these salvagers, 2 boats will come in, one at midday and then one at dusk. And their task is just to pull anything interesting out of the lake, floating to the top, and gather it up. The idea is they drag it up here, it gets stored in this small warehouse in the north of the town, and then at his leisure, Zachary will come down, peruse the debris, pick out anything he wants, and the rest of it gets burned or put to use elsewhere, but he gets first pick. Presumably, this is the bizarre and fantastical items and things that'll swarm up from time to time. This is how Zachary gets what he wants.
Can I paw around and see what kind of stuff they're finding within that hour?
Not without risk of being discovered. You're invisible, but you're not intangible, so I'm going to make you roll
Yeah.
a hide check.
Yeah, 10. Let's go.
You have advantage from being invisible, right?
I do.
You do have advantage. Was that 10 with advantage?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much risk
okay.
am I willing to?
Not that much risk. They're fishermen. Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know. Yell at me?
Oh, there's that 10.
Yeah, that's an 18.
Okay. So yeah, you sneak a moment here and there to try to look at the pickings, and they kind of sort it into piles, like bits of wood, bits of metal, bits of cloth, some old rusted weapons and things. And it's strange because they're pulling in a haul of this stuff presumably every day. It's a lot more than you would think could be dredged up from a lake bed that's... It gives more credence to the idea that this opens up into an ocean somewhere. The bits you're looking at, none of it looks that impressive. You get the feeling that Zach Wheel probably comes down 99 days out of 100, looks at the lot, says, I don't need any of this. And that's probably what's going to happen to this mass in front of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna break off and then go find Evie and inform her of what's going on.
So around evening, the evening time where the villagers are breaking to take their evening meal, you guys reconvene and share the day's events.
I
Yeah.
kind of feel like he's looking for something specific. Like he knows there's something down there that he wants.
That would
Or
stand to reason, yeah.
I mean, or he's just hoping to find specific, like not specific things. Like if this opens up outside of the land here, and just
I mean, you guys know me. I don't like secrets. I'm not saying this guy like eats babies or anything like that. He seems like a bit of a dick, but he doesn't seem like an evil monster necessarily. But I'm not. I don't know if I'm ready to talk to him until I know what's what.
Question 1. Do you want to leave him in charge of this village?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'm not saying we need to destroy him and tear his wall down. I'm saying I want to know more before I decide. It's fine to just leave him here doing his thing. I don't know what his thing is. Actually, I could work so far. I could try some augury.
Even if you do know what his thing is, do you want to leave him in charge of this village?
I mean, it seems like he's defended it, but he seems like a bit of a pompous ass.
Well, that's not the worst thing somebody could be in this realm.
That's honestly very true.
Let's try augury. Let's say if I accept Zaquiel's terms and leave him alone, weal or woe.
Wheel and woe.
So there's something bad that we don't know yet, and I'm not gonna. What?
the wheel and woe thing is just like that That's just everyday life.
Well, yeah, but
That's just like that's like Wheel and Woe is about as is a neutral answer. It's like,
Like,
yep.
well, it implies that there's something specific bad that will happen if we leave him alone. I would like to know what that is.
I mean, we could explore the lake.
I feel like maybe that's what I want to do. But
I
there's
could-
mist out there, and it would be really dangerous. And I don't think we should take Tenny, and that puts us in a bad situation.
Orson brightens up. Says, "Alas, I don't have any more scrolls of breathe water."
I think we do have one.
Yeah, actually, we do.
Oh, I can just cast it.
Like we still have the extra scrolls that he had back from the day.
Oh, I thought you used all those.
No.
Oh, in that case, yeah, he points out that he still has them. He's still very proud that he procured those.
Yeah, good job, Ors. I
Edmont,
feel like
perhaps him on his shoulder for that.
I feel like I want to investigate the lake before I make any terms with this man.
And then Orson
I wanna know what
darkens
he's-
again for a moment. Says, "Well, before we do that, that would be a bit like a stranger poking around in our woods, wouldn't it?"
Except these are Evie's lands.
Well, he's claiming that this lake. He's claiming that this lake is his territory. If he catches us poking around his
It'd be
lake,
more
he
like
could
a
say,
stranger poking around in our mirror room.
So,
Agreed.
just does the this lake does fall under the purview of what we have on paper, correct?
I'm not really sure what you're asking.
So,
In
like,
the maps of our area, this is part of the area that we have in our maps, right?
This village is at the end of one of your streams on the bank of one of your lakes, and there wasn't a village here as far as you knew at all.
what I'm asking is, like, when we signed the paperwork
Mhm.
to take ownership of the duchy,
Yep.
I presumably it had like some sort of land boundaries written into it.
Okay, you can assume that.
Okay, I just was wondering if that's the case, and
It's entirely possible that Aslan gave two conflicting writs to two different people.
I mean,
Sounds
we've
like-
already seen that, so yeah. Like, we walked up with a conflicting writ to a much older writ, so, you know.
Yes. Also, there's the fact that, if we trespass his lake, I'm not that convinced there's much he could do about it. I don't think he could fight all of us.
Orson
I have
says.
no. I wouldn't make any assumptions about what his capabilities are.
Mm.
Yeah.
Orson says for his part, he'll go where he's asked, but he thinks, in his opinion, that Evie should be very careful about making more enemies if she doesn't have to.
Why don't we, like, schedule an appointment to speak to him tomorrow morning? After he's had his breakfast, we will set a hard time. I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we go outside the gate as requested. We just pitch tents and we wait till in the morning. We pull that man down out of that cage, give him some food and water, and send him on his way
Send him where?
wherever he wants to go. There's three villages to pick from. We can send him to Barazar, Elhurst, or back to Silverbow.
The guy's
Or-
about, I feel like he's maybe not going to survive out in the wilderness.
You know who might actually kick him into shape?
Send him
You know
to
who
Barazar.
actually working for yourself and being independent, and wouldn't
know.
help with him, but also wouldn't hang him in a giblet for being a layabout.
Who are
I
you
feel
talking
like-
about?
Your best friend.
Oh, the Duke.
Oh, so there's 4 villages to pick from. Just send him to one.
I feel like sending him to the Dookie would just take it as an insult. Like, here, you deal with this guy.
Do you not want to subtly insult the Duke? Have I been missing subtext this whole time? God damn it!
I'm already getting lectured about making enemies I haven't made yet.
It's not my intent to lecture you. I wouldn't presume, Orson says.
Orson, you're fine.
I mean, I kind of want to know what's going on out that lake, but I agree. I don't want to, like, be improper, but I don't
Wait. So why don't we just go to the lake from outside the walls?
Well, he's claimed ownership over the whole lake.
I mean, again, I think we should. We still haven't had the actual discussion with him.
Yeah, I haven't signed anything with him. Technically, I'm not claiming that I recognize his rights to the lake.
So let's wait till let's have the discussion first. I feel.
So
let's...
he's not going to be willing to have a negotiation of terms while you're inside of his walls. Like the first good faith requirement is just like he would be allowed in your village if he were invited in and granted guest right. But you guys didn't ask to be invited in. In fact, you were pointedly not invited in, and you came in anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's rude.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's not going to have any negotiation while you're inside of his walls.
and that's what Jeannie's suggesting we do. We send him a thing saying we'll be outside for a few days. We request an audience in the morning. After he has taken his breakfast, we will wait patiently outside the gate, and then we request to be formally brought in as guests. Then we will have the discussion outside the gate. And again, besides, Ekon has to take care of... Like, he gave you this man as a citizen, Evie. We got to go outside and take care of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that like 14 hours ago. You guys just left him dangling there.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We should go take care of that guy. I guess he's technically saying that it's our responsibility now.
He had a block of hardtack in a canteen on his lap. When
I mean, I
he was
figured
there.
he would sleep for at least that long. I was planning to come out to him. Like, it's currently midday, right?
I think it's evening now.
Yeah, it's getting on to
Okay.
the evening now.
Yeah, after buying the fish, I would go out and check on him then.
So I'll take him a message because Evie, we're not sending Victor.
Yeah.
Edmont's a little aggro today. I'm just like pointing at him with like a squinty eyes.
Edmond's just sitting there just grinding his teeth together.
Yeah, that's probably
Ekon-
about how he would be. Yeah.
Ekon is super aggro today. And Evie, I don't think you should be the one to go deliver the message. So since you're technically in charge.
So, Jeannie, you are offering your own services to go deliver this message.
Yes. Yeah.
So you guys are going to go leave the walls, set up camp outside.
Yeah,
with the hopes that he'll come. Okay. Jeannie,
Huh?
Zach Wheel is delighted to hear you'll be leaving his walls.
Right.
However, there's no
And he
need
goes-
for you to set up camp. He insists that you just be on your way, head back to town, where you came from, back to your lands. As to the other thing, he meant what he said. He can meet you in your dreams, but you have to fall asleep first.
Right. And he goes, well, I'll speak to you tonight. And I passed the message along. Like, I guess I'm assuming it's like a written message. Like, well, here's the message. And I will tip my fine feathered hat from Final Fantasy VI
Right.
and go out the gate.
Do the guards let us out the gate, or do we have to climb?
No, when you go back to the gate, they've been given word to let you through. Okay. That could have gone much, much more violently. That whole situation.
Yeah, I'll pull the guy out of the giblet. Make sure he has food and water.
Well, are you guys taking custody of
giblets
this
are.
man?
Yes.
Okay.
Ekon specifically will, since he was the one who healed him and ascertained he had done no violence to any creature larger than a chicken.
And
If you
also
can whip this guy into something, that's okay. But
flame struck the wall.
No, flame strike doesn't affect objects.
I'm very tempted to just spend every single session for the rest of the campaign just making McDohl just the biggest pain in your ass.
Oh no, he's immediately going to Darkwood.
Oh, you're
I
shipping
don't-
him off to Darkwood.
No.
Yes.
Well, one, that's really cruel, and
No, it
two,
isn't.
Who? McDohl or Darkwood?
For both of them, it's appropriate. Darkwood will not take his shit, but he's also not going to throw him in a giblet.
I don't know.
Darkwood's
Like,
awful good. He believes in self-reliance. It's a perfect match.
Victor supports this decision.
So are you guys setting up
Giblets,
camp
Destil,
outside the
not
walls?
giblet.
Are you setting up camp outside the wall, or are you being on your way?
I think we're gonna set up camp here. I don't think we're done here yet.
Okay. Jeannie,
yes.
since you're the one that he likes,
Giblet. Gibbet,
I think
Destil,
you
not
get a
Giblet.
saving throw.
I mean,
I heard him say giblet many times, McDohl. I was just letting it go.
No, I definitely got that one wrong.
It hurts. It hurts me. I'm sorry.
That's
That was
fine.
that was too far.
I'm gonna start saying giblet now.
Oh no.
Is it a gibbon or is that a type of baboon?
That's
Giblet?
a gibbon.
Gibbon. What about a giblet?
It's like, I mean, if he had giblets, then he would have been a chicken thief.
Yeah, that's fair. If Jeannie is expecting, like, she's expecting some magical chicanery when she goes to sleep, so, like, if there's a saving throw, she will fail it.
I don't think you do get a saving throw.
But I'm saying, if there is one,
Unless they try to do the...
Nightmare version?
Yeah, the nightmare
Yeah,
version that does damage, but he's not. So yeah, you have a dream that night where you are sitting in a gorgeous solar.
Does he
Very
get to
well decorated, very well provisioned.
dictate it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Zakweel tells you that he won't discuss any specific details with what he knows about how to come and go from Darkon until you and yours are well away from his walls and be on your way back home. But he can appreciate the necessity in Evie's position to at least create the appearance of saving face. As long as you and yours don't present yourselves here in the manner that you have this past day or so, you will have no mischief from him. He has no designs or interest in the hills and forests and rocks, only the lake.
So from what I'll tell him, from what we've gathered, the lake goes somewhere. But if you want to wait till we're further away to discuss it, I will acquiesce. I don't know
Maybe
if I can
insight check.
That is 14.
Zakweel a proud man, but over the course of the dream, you definitely get the sense that he feels like he dodged, like it came very slim today. He's not sure that if it had come to violence, if he would have won. So if there's going to be an amicable relationship between the two of you, it's going to take some amount of time to build a rapport first, before there's an exchange of any sort of practical information.
Right.
In either direction.
So, how about this? All right. Why don't we start this meeting with you asking me a question? And as long as it does not put my sister in danger, I will answer it.
He tells you that he doesn't have any questions for you. Not as of yet. This is just a getting to know you kind of meeting. This is just an exchange of pleasantries.
Well, Jeannie will be like, I guess we'll do the pleasantries. Like, Jeannie will tell him a little bit about herself. We come from a land called, we come from a city called Brittany. There was a war. When we were escaping the war, we sailed into the mists and arrived here. I do not want to be here. I do not want my sister to be here.
Okay.
And that's as far as she takes it. Like, do not want my sister to be here.
He listens politely, if with a bit of disinterest, you judge. But he doesn't give you any details about himself. He doesn't tell you where he's come from or how long he's been here. But he's definitely glad to have had a civilized conversation. And he tells you that there can be more in the future. That perhaps this could be the beginning of a very profitable friendship for us both.
Is there anything that I can convince you to do to something I could give to my sister to convince her to leave? Because the other ones are not going to want to leave. You made my cousin very angry by putting the man in the gibbet.
He corrects you. It's
he-
giblet.
Anyway,
I think Treble just broke. I think he just fell apart.
yeah, I had a train of thought going. You derailed it, so give me a
I'm
moment.
sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Listen. I've got like, there's a singular hamster wheel in my brain. The hamster was on it. You just took a Nerf gun and shot it off the wheel.
Oh, the poor hamster.
You think we could you think we could draft some kind of trade agreement just to appease my sister, and then that way, like the goods and services, maybe fish for wood and the like.
He tells you that deals done with ink and parchment are so droll, and of course, parchment is only it's only worth anything until somebody burns it. How
All
about
I'm
this?
looking- Okay.
You tell your sister, if you arrive back at Silverbow, back at your manor where you belong, in 1 week, in 1 week and 1 day, you shall have a gift from me. And in receipt of this gift, you shall know that I am open to friendship. Other
Alright.
terms I am not interested in. If you are not home within 1 week, there will be no gift from me, and I guess we'll see where it takes us.
All
And he
right.
directs you to drink of his wine and eat of his fruit. It's not real, of course. It's all part
Right.
of the dreamscape.
Why? So one last question: why are you afraid of ravens? What's the deal there? Is there
He-
something we should be watching out for?
He tells you that's the sort of question he would answer for a friend.
You know, I've heard. He goes and I'll tell him, and I'll look at him with a very flat look. Every person who has said something like that to us immediately asked for like a virgin sacrifice and tried to kill us afterwards.
He tells you he has no use for virgins. That's about all you're going to get out of the dream. He doesn't.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I'm just listening, but like, I'll tell him. I'll try to convince everybody to go back to head home.
Okay.
Is there any way you can send I'm going to ask him to send a physical letter to the basically to that effect. Something I could use to get everybody moving. Because I would rather keep these conversations secret.
He thinks it would be more interesting for you to convince your sister on your own. For if you can't make your sister see reason, then he doesn't believe that she will. Regardless what he writes.
She is the reasonable sister.
Isn't that a charming thought?
Jeannie gives him a very wide and slightly psychotic smile.
The next day, do you all leave back for home? It's a 9-day journey from the lake.
Jeannie will try to convince you that it's a 9-day journey.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, it's 4 days from the previous town.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So it's 9 days. We're supposed to be back there in a week.
Week and a half.
Now, he gave you 1 week.
Oh.
I mean, if you ride hard and you push yourself beyond exhaustion, you could get back home in half the
Well, he
time.
just made a mistake, then, didn't he?
I don't think he did. He just wants us out of here.
I didn't argue with that because I thought we were 4 days away.
You're 4 days from Barazar.
Yeah. So here's the thing as I see it. And this is actually a legitimately thing. Either we're going to go in there and depose that man right now with fire and blood, or with our little sister here, and I point at Tinny, or
Tenny's part of this conversation, by the way. There's not going to be
Right.
a way to have a private conversation just excluding her unless you're leaving her
Right.
alone somewhere.
I'm literally pointing at her.
Okay.
She's sitting in the grass with her little bare feet. I am pointing at her. So are we going to take down this? Are we going to storm this village with fire and noise and blood and the punching,
I mean, that would just make us conquerors.
So
Like,
Let's-
these people are, he's a jerk, but these people aren't, like, being oppressed. We're not going
I
to
just-
treat it as liberators.
We're
Mikhail
not.
points out that he was oppressed a little bit.
Well,
Mikhail,
Yeah,
go
that's-
away. Like, we've given you instructions on how to get there. Go.
I'm just going to point out you can't conquer lands already yours. You would be evicting a usurper.
well, yeah, but the people of this village aren't going to see it that way. They're probably going to see Evie as, like, a vile conqueror.
There's not a way to take the village without loss of life, is the point, I think.
Yep.
If you choose to take the villagers, some of these villagers are going to get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And also, and Jeannie looks down and she's like looking in her notebook. We have taken way too long. I need to be back in the village of a week, or there is a chance that something could explode.
What?
You can't get there in a week.
Yeah.
If we ride hard, I think we could make it, but I'd really rather not go home to a crater. And Edmont starts breaking camp a little faster now.
We have one more person than we have horse now.
He's
We
going
also-
to. He's no.
Are you
Down-
seriously sending him to Darkwood?
Yes, but once we get home, like Darkwood's in the other direction. Would you rather have him in our village?
I mean, no.
Not just
Uh-huh.
that. We need to stop at Bears on the way back to make sure things are okay.
I mean,
Why?
you could.
Why?
I don't think there's anything more we can do there. I think that you can't unfuck it.
We don't need to unfuck it. We just need to go check on it, make sure it's not fucked even more.
I mean, I am curious what the Raven people are doing.
Anyway,
Are we traveling back and trying to get back inside of a week?
Jeannie tells you it won't be a large crater, just more like the workshop and maybe half of the manor house, and then whatever the opposite end of that would be. So, yeah, crater.
All right. Well, I guess we're going home.
Okay.
Victor is going to have a familiar go fly over Bearzar and check on the way back. And then whenever familiar gets back to him, if he does.
Yeah, it's still there.
I know no corpses laying in the streets or masses of dead people. Everything seems fine.
No, not that you can see. It hasn't turned into Zombie Nation out there.
We haven't
Good.
got there yet.
Riding hard, and I mean a good 14 hours a day. Exhausting work, especially keeping Tenny and Mikhail along with you. For her part, Tenny will complain about anything at the drop of a hat. Everything is always so unfair, and she never wants to take direction, and she's always... But in this situation, riding hard, being contending with the elements, you can tell that she's having a very tough time of it, but she doesn't complain at all. She doesn't weep, she doesn't kick her feet or throw a tantrum. This kind of hardship she's able to swallow. Mikhail complains
Totally acknowledge
loudly the entire time that he'd rather be back in his gibbet than pushing hard through the wilderness.
So, is it a hard G or a soft G? Is it a gibbet or
It
a
goes
gibbet?
back and forth. It's whatever it needs to be.
Okay.
Schrodinger's
Wars have been fought over this.
Mrs. Fitzgibbet.
Mhm.
Block.
This is Fitzgibbon.
Arriving back in Silverbow, I would have you guys take levels of exhaustion or something, but you're going to get a bunch of long rests before it's going to matter anyway. So, on the 8th day after you leave from the lake, one of the serving people in the manor tells you that a traveler had left a parcel for one of you at the public house early in the morning.
For
Who?
all of us, or just Genie specifically?
Genie specifically.
Oh,
Jeannie, what's
will.
this about?
Uh,
Jeannie?
I ordered some parts. I have to go into the workhouse. Thank you. Bye. And she goes into her workshop and closes the door. You hear the click of a key.
I totally don't trust her.
I
I'm,
have clairvoyance.
I'm gonna go find out what this parcel's about then.
It's wrapped in burlap, and undoing the twine and pulling it aside.
Yeah, I'm not gonna open it in the public house itself. I'm gonna take it back to the manor.
I'm assuming Jeannie has it.
Yeah, Jeannie went into her. She's in her workshop. Like
You literally just said that you're like, I'm gone.
no, I took it and left. Is what I did.
Okay, never mind.
But, like-
I misinterpreted it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeannie has it. It's for Jeannie. Taking it out of the burlap wrapping. It's a small white pine box. The lid doesn't have a clasp or hinges or anything. It just fits one lip over the other. Pulling it out, inside is a gaudy silver goblet. Tied around the stem of it is a small flap of cloth. On it is just written some kind of runic language. It doesn't map to any particular language set that you're aware of, but looking at it, you instinctively recognize it as a magic command word.
Okay. I mean, I'll say it.
And when you do, the goblet fills up with wine.
Okay. Before I do anything else, I'll cast Identify.
And it's a silver goblet. It's not even real silver. It's just magicked to look like it's made of silver. It's much more base metal. But when you speak the command word, it fills up with cheap wine.
Okay. All right. I will dump the wine out in a drain somewhere and then put the goblet on the shelf.
Okay. So do you tell anybody that you have this item? Or what its
No.
significance is?
No.
Okay.
I just put it on a shelf, just behind a couple of things.
Who's taking McHale out to deliver him to Darkwood?
Ekon.
I'll do it.
Edmont and Ekon
I'll
are?
go.
McHale protests the whole way. What do you guys tell him about Darkon beforehand?
That he's one of our vassals, and that he, I'm sure, would be happy to bring in a man with a reputation such as yourself into his village.
Well, Darkwood doesn't really have a village out there. It's just his hall that
Yeah.
he's built.
He's got he's got the Minecraft dirt hut. Still out there punching trees.
I don't think anybody's been out to visit Darkwood. And
Not yet.
Not
Not yet.
yet.
Edmont has extended invitations,
okay.
but has
Darkwood's
not
hall.
gone at it.
Quaint is the wrong word. Even rustic would be pushing it a little bit. It almost does look like someone just punched a bunch of trees into submission. It's a log cabin for what it's worth, but I mean, the logs have just been carved to fit into one another, and there's large gaps in the walls and in the roof, and even inside on the floor, there's no rushes down, there's no floorboards, just stomped gravel into the earth and broken leaves. And there's a large stone hearth, which he was constructing last time everybody was up there. Darkwood greets you warmly when you arrive. Welcomes you in. Although, it's not much of a different feeling inside his hall than it is outside of it. Maybe slightly drier.
Progress has been made.
Now, progress has been made. I'm finished building.
This is it?
This is all I need. It's all any man needs, if you're honest with yourself.
This is McHale. He was a citizen of a neighboring village, and we felt it would be best if he became one of your first people serving under your... I don't quite remember what we're calling this. It's not a... What's the next one down under Duchy, out of character?
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever. Ekon knows the word for it, though, and he just says that word.
I don't have much use for a serving man. I do all the work myself. What do you do, sir? McHale stammers out an answer and says he's a fisherman, which is a damn lie. One of you give me an
He told he
insight
was-
check.
I'll do it.
I want to do it.
You can both do it.
That's an insight of 29.
It's pretty good.
Mine is not that.
Darkwood has no use for this man. And McDohl has no desire to be here. However, you're pretty sure you could push the issue in the point of, like, Darkwood would be doing you a favor. That you need this man looked after for some particular reason and, like, broken into shape.
Yeah, that's exactly the truth. That is exactly what Ekon's thinking.
But you're going to have to put it to him in those words. Flowering up
Yeah.
the language isn't going to...
Yeah, no, Ekon will make no...
Yeah.
No, I
That's
mean,
possible.
he might not say that in front of McDohl. He might be like, "Oh, a moment, your lord, if we could speak in private,"
Okay.
and tell him, look, this guy needs someone who can actually guide him on a path that I don't think Evie in our town is quite capable of doing. He doesn't quite have the discipline, and I thought of you.
Edmont will tell him how he found him initially, and his apparent story based on what was told to us by others.
Oh, well. I mean, if he had stolen my chickens, I would have done the same, except I would have put him in the gibbet upside down.
I don't think he actually stole any chickens. I think it was a pretense. But I also think of all the people here, you're the only one I would trust to actually get to get this man into shape as someone who could at least look himself in the mirror every day.
And you gotta glance over as the three of you are talking off to the side. McDohl's trying to make himself comfortable, sitting on like a gnarled tree stump that Darkwood has relocated inside of his hall, trying to make himself comfortable. I think mad might be the wrong word. I can bruise his knuckles and straighten his back if that's what needs done.
It's probably the best thing for him, to be honest.
Darkwood agrees to take him off your hands. You won't recognize him when you see him again, though, he warns.
Well, I pray he's a better man for it then.
Anything else with Darkwood after you drop McDohl off and visit his hall?
No.
He sends you back with a sledge laden down with some amount of furs. He tells you that's fair taxation for the season, 1/10 of his wealth.
Well
Excellent.
done. Thank you.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure
Furs,
the Duchess...
bones, and salted meat. Victor and Evie.
Mm-hmm.
Each of you give me a perception check. It's the last thing we'll do this session.
That's going to be like a 31.
Oh, I did not do as well as that. I got a 15.
Victor. Getting back to the manor. Edmont and Ekon have left. It's, what do we say, like a 2-day round trip or something?
Yeah.
Something like
Darkwood's
that.
Hall and back. Jeannie's busy in her workshop. The two of you are getting back into the swing of things. Victor, you catch Tenny at play out in one of the gardens the day after you return, after she's had a rest. And you, as you approach her, she swiftly hides an object behind her back, slips it into her dress, into a pocket, in a manner that might be impressive if you yourself were not a master of sleight of hand. And you can tell what it was. A long, slender raven feather. And that's where we will leave it for the week.
Oh, okay.
When we come back next week, we will, I guess, put her in a gibbet.
Giblet.
No, we're going to feed her some giblets.
Feed her some giblets.
Are we?
I hear McDohl crying. We should stop.
So, which of these villages was your favorite?
None of them?
The last one wasn't so bad.
The last one I think was my favorite. to be
I like
honest.
Dalehurst.
But they're all great though.
I figured there was like a 50% chance we were going to have to storm Zakwheel's tower. I had the tower map ready just in case.
I mean, it was
Treble
almost
too.
Ekon.
Treble was too angry with me after Verazar.
I'm a little
I can
disappointed.
storm the tower.
I'm a little disappointed nobody actually tried to attack him sitting in the window because it wasn't actually him. It was just an illusion. He's such a dick.
He's the right amount of dick. He's he's enough that you know he's a dick, but not enough that you want to kill him immediately.
He's safely inside of his tower, and he projected an illusion to make it look like he opened the window and peered out.
I'm not actually mad at you. I just it was just a momentary flash of extreme violent anger that if you were within reach, I probably would have punched you in the arm. But no, nothing more than that.
Okay, I'm gonna go dark for 2 minutes while I do some paperwork on my end. If you guys want to start thinking about your blips, I'll be back in 120 seconds exactly.
120
Who's the most
seconds.
creative today?
I want to give that to Edmont for choosing, like, you have a heavily magicked wall that is fireproof, and the guards won't just run up over it. Just stupid monk bullshit. Just, hi, how you doing? I thought that was great. And I am suggesting it because I'm sitting there thinking, how the hell are we going to get past this wall?
I'm over it.
It's not really even a wall, to be honest. It's just a thing.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking in three-dimensionally, I guess.
Who furthered the party's goals the most today?
I would give that one to Genie for being the
Yeah.
rational one.
Yeah.
That awful, awful feeling when you go to put your dice back in their bag and you're missing a D4.
Oh, you'll find that one. Don't worry.
Rip Brickroad's feet.
So, real quick, unrelated, did you know they're making Dungeons and Dragons Lego sets, which means that we might end up with a Lego D4 at one point?
Oh, that's even worse.
That's
Okay.
like
Man,
It's like two terrible things all together.
How do you make a Lego D4? It already sounds like it's just a D4.
do we know what those sets look like yet? Because I might have to invest in a D&D Lego set if it's cool.
They had like I saw like a picture of a box, but I didn't like investigate any further.
Yeah.
All I could think of was Lego D4. Oh my god. People's feet would just blow out. Anyway,
mean,
I
we
think it's
used
probably
to
gonna be
like
related to
castle
the movie.
sets and stuff back in the day.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like a more fantasy version of that kind of stuff. Because that, like the old school Lego castle sets were more like historical Middle Age.
Yeah.
Also rad.
They were pretty rad. I had like this pirate set. It was really awesome.
Dragons.
I
Anyway.
have a little Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers Legos on my desk. They're adorable. So yeah, the idea was to have one village where the people actually sucked, one village where the people were fine, but it like they gave off vibes like maybe they sucked, and then one village that absolutely had didn't want anything to do with you and didn't respect your authority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we drove out the witch, so
My
I don't think
thinking
we drove out the
was-
wish.
My thinking was if Evie responded with like extreme paranoia, it would pay off in one village, but backfire in the second one.
It did. Everything went according to Brickroad's plan.
All
He is
according
living rent-free inside of Solitaire's head.
I'm not the one who screwed things up in the second village.
That's, well, it was a team effort.
I was literally one of the people who wasn't supposed to be in the room.
That's true.
Honestly, he's not wrong. Brickroad, that was entirely Victor's
It
fault
was
for that
a,
thing.
it was a Genie and Victor tag
No.
team where Victor
If
took the
Evie-
ball and ran with it.
If Evie hadn't hung somebody, Victor would never have said that.
The two phrases that clench that scene were Genie said first, like, this is your one and only chance to come clean. And then Victor immediately said, by the way, our sister loves to hang people. So the implication there was
It's not
very
even
clearly
true.
that if you don't, like, Genie's like, if you don't tell us what we want to know, like, something bad's going to happen. And then Victor's like, oh, that bad thing might be you getting hanged. That was enough of an implication for that NPC.
Yeah, for the record, I was never on board with just, like, holding Florina down and making her talk.
I don't know what they were going to do, but she wasn't going
Neither
to...
do I.
She wasn't going to sit around and find out the hard way, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
No kidding.
what we were going to do, what my plan was, is give her a chance to talk and come clean and be like, listen, we don't, I was going to, like, lay it out there, like, we don't actually care if you're smuggling or anything like that.
Evie was probably going to go with the angle of she wants in.
Like, we don't actually care about that. Like, so, like, we just need to make, like, in, like, kind of lay out in the previous village, like, there was a guy that wanted to blood sacrifice to make better wine, and we
You
just want to
guys
make
know
sure
how
it's
long
not
it's been
that.
since Evie met a nice girl.
And then that's where she was going with that conversation.
Victor kind of already had that conversation with her.
Yeah, that's... Victor kind
Hell,
of...
you're Victor.
And
I mean-
confirm he is indeed Victor.
And then if that conversation went absolutely nowhere, then it was, then all right, please go fetch Ekon, and we will do the Zone of Truth thing. That was my plan.
There's no way she would have gone along with that.
Like I said, I was giving even odds on it coming to combat with Zakwheel. Like, there's
I was
storm the
not
Seas
one of the
Tower.
people who escalated that situation. I want that on record.
You
No,
started out by being very
you're
rude,
right.
though.
I got the
Listen-
feeling that
Listen, here's the thing with that. Is our patient, like, at least me as the player, my patience has been worn down well beyond all sanity by the first two villages.
I kind of feel like that this whole trip, Evie's the only one who never screwed up.
Yeah, you would feel that way, wouldn't you? Go ahead and pat yourself on the back there, Saul.
Yeah,
Yeah, walking up and
You're
saying,
a little
"This is my
tough for
land."
that one. Holy shit.
Who has some... wants to make a case for some blips this week?
I can go.
Genie.
Chaotic neutral. When in doubt, go with your gut. For like, this woman is hiding something, but like, maybe she will, like, if we go in an unofficial capacity, that she will just open up a little more. It didn't work out.
I am curious. Like, what would the player response be if an NPC showed up and was like, all right, well, this is your one and only chance. I want you to come clean with me, wanting to hear your secrets.
I mean, if they were a representative of the local government, they would have probably more right than a random NPC to do that. But guess what? We're the representatives of the local government.
Well, let's say they had reputations like will burn a man's balls off, massacred Squelcher Lord's court.
I didn't have that one. I was remember my
Cruel
reputation is
Taskmaster.
remember my reputation was I was off getting laid during that.
The harlot that survived the massacre.
Yeah. GD pays zero attention to that. Does not even come up in her mental calculus.
Anything
As
else?
zero. Yes. Ideal practical solution to impractical problems. for spending time and energy identifying the walls and stuff like that. And
Okay.
then don't worry about it. It was just a setback for parlaying with the what was his name? Started with a Z.
Zaquiel.
Zaquiel, yeah.
Dantes.
For parlaying with him.
You may call
And
him
don't-
his lordship of Dantes.
But also, I do notice that he did send a very cheap cup.
But it's magic.
It is magical.
It is a magical cup, but so Jeannie just puts it off in the corner.
She throws it on her giant pile of magic cups that she has.
she she might.
You're not wrong.
And then the video.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I can go
I
next.
guess.
I heard Evie first.
Okay. Evie's alignment is changing.
Oh, God.
Or not her alignment, but her aspect. It was, you mess with my family, you mess with me. It is now, I will do my duty, but I shall always be true to myself. I feel like that's a good, chaotic, good alignment aspect.
What happens when your duty comes into conflict with being true to yourself?
That's a great question, and it's happening an awful lot lately.
Okay.
I must become a leader that others can believe in for being the one who didn't go crazy and tried to kind of keep order during the whole invasion of Rudolph. And Flaw no one understands for Jeannie asking her to step outside during the interrogation of Florina, only for Victor to put his whole foot in his mouth instead. Victor was trusted and Evie was not.
So now who are we down to on the Not-Narc-Squad? Is it just Jeannie at this point?
No, it's Jeannie and
After Edmund runs up the wall, you're going
Edmont.
to let him stay in there?
I think Edmont is definitely in the non-Narc-Squad.
Is it really a
Right.
squad if it's just two people?
Yeah,
All you need, baby.
I mean, who's next?
we have decoder rings, Brick Road.
There
Great.
you go.
Victor, what you got?
For the alignment, the unjustified means, that would be running up the wall and helping Edmont disable the guard so they can get the door open, or at least get everybody across the wall.
I was very interested to see whether it was going to come to combat with those guards, because they were just commoners. They don't even.
That's why I was like, non-lethally.
But they're dressed like men at arms. You were supposed to think, oh, they're guards, so they can take a couple hits at least.
I figured they were commoner guards.
Well,
Oh.
there's actually a guard stat block for City Watch kind of stuff, which is notably tougher than commoners. They have to be. They're the City Watch, but that's not what
Yeah.
these guys were. Zaquiel's all about facade.
So for ideal, seek the truth no matter the cost. That would be sneaking around with Genie inside of Florina's shop to find out what was going on.
Yep.
And then for the flaw, values knowledge over people. That would be implicitly threatening Florina to try and coerce her into spilling her secrets.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good example of your flaw. Definitely worthy of a blip. I can't reveal the whole Florina storyline that might have been at this point, because I don't know where it'll go, but it might be worth revisiting during a debriefing at the end of the campaign, if we remember.
I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of her.
We're never
No.
done. We're not done with that.
Who's next? Edmont?
I can go.
Go. Do it.
So my aspect is changing for my alignment, and actually his alignment is drifting toward evil because he's getting very scared of his own cousin trying to coerce him.
So is Edmont lawful evil now?
Yeah,
We're doing that.
This isn't the first lawful evil character McDohl's played at this table.
it's true. And with that comes a new aspect. Blood runs thicker than water, and my own blood thicker still.
So the implication here is that your family is important, but you are more important than Then, like, your bond to your kinsman.
Yeah,
Okay.
because in his eyes, Evie violated that by trying to use magic to coerce him.
Listen, man, she just wants you to wear a collar and poop on the paper. That's all.
Listen,
I'm listening.
just no. I mean, what you said on its face should be on its face. Yeah. What you said should be on its face. Terrible. Anyway, I have my ideal. Life is my canvas, and I will make my mark on it for that entrance that he made into Rodolph.
Okay.
Like, stop, nerds! Punch, punch.
They're definitely nerds, and you rang their bells for sure. It's a good thing you
And,
specified non-lethal, because it was absolutely possible you could have killed one outright with a single punch.
And my flaw: this world is filled with predators of prey, and I sure as hell am not the prey for his presentation of Evie, and really making more of a scene than he absolutely needed to with it. And standing in front of why is my brain always jumping to Zariel? This isn't Avernus.
And what does Ekon have for me?
I've got Lawful Good, the shining words of air lay down a path of us all for sending McDohl to Darkwood to shape him up. I've got my ideal, give me a reason for verifying that the man had not, in fact, harmed anything larger than a chicken before healing him.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my flaw, I'm sure there has to be something good just over that hill. We're thinking, you know what, we'll just burn our way in and claim
Ash's belly.
ducal authority? Not sure what the adjective form of that one is.
Okay. And who had the most creative solution to a problem?
I think that was
The only
Edmund
one
running
that
up
we
the
got
wall.
Edmont running up the wall.
Oh, we got a magic wall we can't penetrate? Oh, it's a wall.
It's still a wall, unfortunately.
Jackie Chan.
Who furthered the party's goals the most?
That's Genie for being the rational one.
Yeah.
That's when you popped in and said it's a something about a
It's distressing that was the... Yeah.
Slightly scared that Genie's the rational one.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, Genie was definitely the rational one today.
Who was the badass?
I want to give that to Ekon for the wall of fire. For the wall of fire.
yeah, losing his temper, which
Not
Just see why Ekon tried
unreasonable.
to not lose his temper too early, because it wasn't even my highest level spell.
that was not Ekon losing his temper.
No, that's why Ekon makes an effort not to lose his temper, because that was not even my highest level spell.
This is my final form.
And what about intangibles?
That is Victor.
I want to give it to Victor for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, Victor for
Getting kicked off the Narc-Squad.
yeah.
And Genie
The-
has our
the
straw
Not-Narc.
poll for the week.
From the
He's on the Narc-Squad now.
He is the Narc-Squad. Okay. Edmont,
Sir,
you have 0. You just earned 3.
and
Ekon,
they're how much now?
are you rolling these over?
How much are they worth?
We're level 11, yes?
Yeah.
They're worth 500.
We get
I'm
any
still
experience.
I'm still 5,000 away from a level.
Ekon,
Thanks.
you had 0. You just earned 4.
Just rolling them over, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So you're coming back in next week with 0?
No, I'm coming with 4.
Okay.
Sorry. I misspoke,
come
I
in
guess.
with 3. Yeah.
Evie, you had 6, and you just earned 2. Both of those are rolling over. Genie,
I should have earned. Oh, you're right. I did only earn 2. Okay. Thank you. I thought I earned 3. I forgot that you can't use.
yeah, you can't. You changed your alignment aspect here.
Yep. So yeah.
You didn't actually change your alignment, but you changed what it means.
Yep. Okay, I got
Genie,
that
I have to
marked down.
double
Thank you.
check. Genie earned 6, really? All right.
Genie with ham this
Yeah,
week.
Genie, you
Yeah,
went from
video.
0 to 6.
Yeah, video straw poll and the.
And Victor, you have
The
0.
video.
You earned 4.
I'm gonna roll mine over if they're worth 500 each, so I can level.
Okay, so you're gonna
Well,
come in next
I'm
week
gonna-
with 0.
I'm coming
Yeah.
this week with 5.
And you're going to roll
And-
over 1, Jeannie?
Yes.
All right. And then Evie's coming in next week with 6, Ekon with 4, Edmont with 3. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that.
I'm sure it's perfectly fine that Tenny just happens to be playing with a Raven Feather after everything that
Yeah.
happened this week.
There's nothing to worry about there.
Victor's going to show her the proper way to hide stuff. It's okay.
All right. Thanks for playing, everybody. I'll see everybody next
Yep.
week.
Later.
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 Are we